Hello, everybody. Welcome to Echo Underground. I'm Shanique.
This is Mike.
And on this podcast, we talk about music, movies, and any other interesting topics. Today's episode is going to be about the new Netflix original Roxanne Roxanne. Brief summary. Basically, it's kind of like a little biography about the 80s rapper Roxanne Shante and how she began in the rap game. So, I'm gonna give this movie a solid B. I think, I actually thought there was nothing wrong with the acting. I wasn't blown away, but there was nothing wrong with the acting. I like the little nods to 80s hip hop, and I liked the characters, and we will get into my favorite character of this movie, which I think will surprise people. I thought it was a little predictable, but I think it was supposed to be because, it
happened.
Well, that and the fact that, I think because she was so young, she did the typical dumb girl shit in this movie. And it's partly her fault, partly her surroundings, partly her mom. A lot of dumb shit was happening. But it's an easy watch, and this was definitely, you could tell it was definitely made for TV or Netflix. But overall, I had a lot of fun watching it. I have some issues with certain characters, but I still had a lot of fun watching it. What do you think of Roxanne Roxanne?
Roxanne Roxanne was cool, mostly because I'm not very exposed to Roxanne Shante, to be honest. So this is kind of a cool look into it. Got a lot of perspective on it. It's cool, rise and fall and rise again kind of story, which I'm always down for. It always shows that one point in a person's life where they just fucked up. I don't know, people just tend to have these deciding moments where everything just changes, and this kind of explores Roxanne's decisions and this essential a few couple integral parts of her years in her teenage years where she was kind of blowing up, things were going good, then they went bad, then to really bad, then to, oh my god, I gotta look away from the screen, then slower rise again. And like Shanique said, it was kind of cool to see the nods to other 80s rappers and hip hop legends and shit like that. Nas was around, Marley Marl,
Biz Markie,
bunch of other I think of a few other names I might be missing out here, but it was really cool. It was really cool to see the family life, the professional life, the really fucked up love life. All the little factors that contributed to the story here.
What's your grade?
Oh yeah, solid B. Listen, in my head, I'm not really grading until I do the podcast, guys. So I'm sorry if I'm always the last one to figure out what my grade is.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into my favorite character. We're just gonna touch on each character. Favorite character is Roxanne's mom, Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she could have easily been the typical angry black woman, because what happens in the movie. Oh, by the way, there will be spoilers. It is on Netflix and it's a good watch, but spoiler, it's about to happen. What happened in the movie is her mom gets played by her boyfriend Dave, and he runs out with all the money they needed to get out the projects. And after that, her mom starts drinking and wilding out. But to me, she's shown as a hard ass who got even harder, because she had this rule if my door locks at 9, don't walk your ass up in here, because I'm gonna lock you out each time. And she had rules. She made the girls do laundry. She tried to tell them don't follow after no man, even though it did come from a slightly bitter place, but she technically was right. She, even when she's mad at her daughter Shante, because they get mad at each other a lot, she still shows up for her every damn time. When Shante moves out the house and makes a stupid mistake and live with some dude she really doesn't know, just so she wouldn't be in her mother's house. And when something goes bad with that, she has to run back home. Her mom lets her in.
Mm-hmm.
Strictly because that's her daughter, When the shit happened with her husband. Baby daddy.
Yeah,
baby
sure.
daddy. She shows up to the hospital for Shante, She is there every step of the way. And she says what I be thinking. So yeah, she's my favorite character. What do you think of Shantae's mom, Miss Peggy?
Also, my favorite character, outside of her she had her own little parts where her story got a little dark because what Shanique said. But like at the end of the day, she still tried to be a mom. Like at the parts where like she wasn't like drinking her ass off, she was still looking out for her daughter, regardless of how like stubborn she was about it. Like Roxanne would come home late, she'd say, "You fucked up. I'm about to not even open the door, but because you were out in the real world and you saw what the fuck I was talking about the whole time, like now I'm gonna let you back in because clearly you know what the hell I meant." And she goes through this, I think, like 3 times in the movie. Could be wrong, but around it felt like a bunch more times. Probably a lot more behind the scenes that wasn't even shown in the movie that maybe happened in real life. So respect to that mom right there, because she was like, she know what the world was like. She had the experience. She's seasoning this shit. She got 4 daughters who's gonna be exposed to all this shitty shit going on in what is it, Bronx, I think it was.
Queensbridge,
right? And I was like, yo, she knows. Mama's looking out. The other 3 daughters, they are. They're just like regular sisters and all that. But Shantae's like taking up the responsibility from her mom because she's been drinking, which is her dark part. But like I think the damage has already been done because everybody had their hopes up, had their dreams crushed, and the mom they just started like following the mom's rules at that point because the mom was pretty much just saying what would need to be done, what had to be done. But in the end of the day, though, she was looking out. She held shit down for Shantae in the hospital, and with the little date with the boyfriend Carlos, who we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah, and like another thing is she did support her rap career too.
Oh yeah, from the beginning, from like she was like 9 or 7 or something like that.
She's like, she didn't understand what rap was, but she's like, you know what?
It's making us money, right?
Yeah, exactly. She's like, you better win this money.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was on the radio, she was like, all right, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was in her own way supportive. Let's get into Cross, because Cross is, so a little background on Cross. Cross, when we first meet Cross, he has a son that we never see again. Mm-hmm. And he basically hires Shante to watch him for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like they just randomly meet in a store, and she gets hired to watch him for like $15. And then Shante blows up after a little bit in the rap game, and he finds her at this after a concert, and he basically kind of like maxes her, and she falls for the okie doke, and eventually they start a relationship after that. Now, I forgot to mention, Shante is 14/15 here. This man is like close to 40. He is knocking on 40 probably.
As we found out later, around the mom's age.
Yeah, and she was knocking on 40 or even older. But yeah, so Cross is a typical example of, 1, he's a pedophile, number 1. 2, he's an ain't shit nigga. He started beating on her. He actually Shante even eventually had a child by this man, and the only way to get her child back was to buy it back from him. He refused to give the child back because eventually he beat her so bad that she ended up in the hospital. One of my favorite scenes is when Miss Peggy finally meets the boyfriend, and she's like, "Who the fuck are you, and why are you sitting next to my child?" And she calls him a nasty bastard, and I'm like, yes, speak from the heart, because I feel you. He made me so mad in this movie, to the point I was just like, nigga, I wanted him to die. Even though I knew he wouldn't, I wanted him to die. Michael was worse than me, though. I was trying so hard, I was like, they don't even look good together, because the girl who plays Shante, she looks the age she's supposed to, and this nigga looks old. And he's played by Marshall Ali, and he was in Moonlight. I don't know if anyone saw Moonlight. He was in there. He was in a lot of movies, actually. He creeped me out, and I knew he was gonna start beating her, cause he was very possessive and angry, and just no, he the character I hate the most in this entire movie. But I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to hate him, and I don't know what he saw in Shante. I think, honestly, it's funny because I think the part of the reason he started liking her was because of her career. But it's also part of the reason he started beating her, too. So I was just like, I didn't understand this, man. He's a typical type of guy who can't take his woman not obeying every rule he says. What do you think of Cross?
I mean, shit. Cross, see, a lot of movies about people from the hood getting into like relationships, like in really shitty situations. This is essentially the poster situation for the whole thing. Guy who don't like taking no for an answer, super possessive, like he barks at everyone, even the people that she work with, for being around her. Real, like I said, real possessive, real abusive. Started getting money out of her just for the son, like Shanique said earlier. I mean, he's portrayed really well as a shitty person, and this shit happens in real life. Like, I don't know, I mean, shit, we've seen the kind of guy before. I can't really go pinpointing any movies because my mental database is not that deep with it for some reason. I know I'm thinking of, just can't point the names out. But he's the shitty boyfriend in almost every movie combined. Like, he's doing everything. Got the girl pregnant at a young age. She might have been, I think, 16 when she first got pregnant. He didn't give a fuck about what the mom had to say. Wasn't trying to let her go nowhere, barking at everybody. I mean, the guy is just a piece of shit, and he looked like a piece of shit. And the worst part about it was predictable. I'm like, from the time she was 14, babysitting his son that never got seen again back in the convenience store, or whatever it was, she was like flirting with him, and I'm like, listen, let me tell you something right now. When I was 14 years old, if I ever saw any of my other 14-year-old female friends getting talked to like that by anybody around the age of 30 and up, hell, you can be.
You could be like 26, and then I'm going to look at you a little sus.
At 14, I don't give a fuck. You're probably, even if you in fucking end of high school anyway, out of college, like early college, you're looking at 14-year-olds, you're looking in the wrong direction. That's all I got to say. Yeah.
Oh, and he did the typical nigga line. I hate you because I love you. Right. Who talks like this? If a man is saying that to you, run. Because he going to love you to the grave. I guarantee that.
He's going to put you in the grave.
For real. I was just like, I was not liking this dude the whole time. Put her in a
chokehold and broke her ribs. I was like, yeah, what the fuck, dog?
I know. And like, a thing I don't understand. The part where he was hitting her ribs, I was so pissed. But you know what? It led to the mom and her understanding each other. Because Shante, I admit, like, when you started drinking and lost all that money,
I lost you too.
Yeah. She was there, but she wasn't fully there. And I'm glad they got to a better place. But I wish she didn't have to come at the price of her ribs. And, you know, her almost dying. So I was just, like, over him so much. But you know what? I guess that also shows it's a good movie because I cared about what happened to Shante. And this nigga made me mad. Because if it was a bad movie and I didn't care, it would be like, whatever, he just be nice. But
and see, we're talking about it a lot because technically this ended up being one of the biggest problems for Roxanne Shante outside of her ego.
Yep, Cross.
Like, there are two really big problems with Shante. Her ego and Cross.
I think there's more than that.
I mean, yeah, but like, at least for me, the two overarching problems really come from those 2 points right there. Her love life got in the way, and then she got, you know, a little too big-headed for her own good.
I think it's like, also the fact that she was naive too.
Yeah.
She had an ego, but didn't really know shit about anything, and then she had the Cross to deal with. Because I think, like, we can get into Shante herself, she didn't have the right people around her. And when she did, she trusted newer people beforehand. Like, she trusted Tone, who ended up coming through for her, but he was...
I mean, he was a crackhead pretty much at the end of the day, because he was on drugs, and that's why he ended up, like, you know, physically assaulting her in the movie. Because I mean, pause.
Yeah, so I agree, but Tone, here's my thing. He's kind of an asshole too, because he's like, oh, 'cause you're dressed like that. And I'm like, and it probably was the drugs, but he did stop. He didn't actually rape her, but he did stop. And I was just like, you're still a piece of shit. But he also helped her get her son back. But he's still a piece of shit because he thought that.
He was willing to kill Cross. I was like, all right, listen. You
felt guilty.
You a piece of shit and all that, and you do feel guilty. I get that too. And you kind of want to kill Cross?
Let him kill Cross.
Go ahead. Go right the fuck ahead. Because at the end of the day, if Cross kill you, you're still a piece of shit. I'd rather see two pieces of shit kill each other. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. But after the baby back, no.
Yeah, after the baby back, right. But he did help out with that.
Yeah, I respect him for doing that, but you still are a piece of shit in my mind because you even thought it was okay to rape a 14-year-old, even for a slight second, even though you had a conscience.
I mean,
and stop yourself.
He was also under drugs, but still,
I'm
not using that as an excuse. I'm just saying what kind of guy he was. Like, granted, to set this up too. She moved in with him because she moved out of the house to get away from the mom and her problems or whatever to try and make the money and sell drugs for him. Now, she's in her pajamas the whole time, and, like, all of a sudden, he's like, yo, you gotta change your clothes. He started acting different after, like, snoring some coke. And I'm like, I guess this is where the problems start. Because after he did that, he kicked her out.
Yeah, because he didn't trust himself.
Right.
Which, you shouldn't have these problems, but, whatever. At least, you came through at the end, so you're like second or third on my piece of shit list. Because, and, like, one thing... Shante definitely got a huge ego. Like, you saw that. She definitely got a huge ego. But she didn't have anyone to keep her in check. Mm-hmm. Her manager was crap, too. He lied saying, oh, well, the money got robbed, but everyone else got paid first. Mm-hmm. That's bullshit. Like, we would have had problems. She should have had a contract saying, yo, you gonna pay me this.
I mean, these are like hood businesses, though. Like, she ain't had nothing, like, legitimate going on.
No, I'm saying...
Yeah, like, hood shows and shit was going on for her, for real.
But she went on a tour. That's not hood.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
This was during the tour. I would get during, like, regular places around the town, but she actually went on a fucking tour. Mm-hmm. And she went to different states and shit. So, she should have had a contract, but she didn't. She should have, Marley Marr, who, legendary, I don't really know I forgot what the guy looked like. So, I don't know if they cast an actor who actually looked like him or not. But, he got into it with Shante because she had a big head, and he was just over it. He was calling her all these names, but he didn't actually know she was doing any of these things. He'd say she was hoeing and he didn't like it, but she wasn't actually doing anything with these dudes because she had cross, and she wasn't even looking for that. She just wanted money. So there was a lot of overreacting and, like,
accepting gifts from, like, all these dudes and whatnot.
But the manager, and it's funny because that's another thing. That's the reason I don't like the manager is because the manager told her to do it.
To like her character, right?
Right. And he should have said something. He's like, no, I told her to accept these gifts. And I knew he was gonna screw up when she puts the car in the manager's name. I was like, put in your mom's name. Like, you don't like.
Something go wrong, it's still gonna be his now, regardless of how old you are. Like, you just gave him a free card.
That's what I'm saying. Put it in your mom's name because your family needs this shit. Mm-hmm. Like, what the fuck? And then, like, a lot of things that I didn't particularly... She did a lot of things wrong because she trusted people too easily. And then she abandoned the people who needed her. Who, actually, I shouldn't say needed her. Who she could have trusted. Mm-hmm. Which is her friend, her mother, all these things. And she didn't bring anyone who wasn't a part of the crew. Mm-hmm. But I thought... Like, the manager pissed me off, Marley Marr. Biz Markie was okay. She was mean as hell to Biz Markie, though. Like, I was like...
Yeah, you gotta play it when he first got on screen, right?
With the whole I didn't even know... Thing. Yeah, I didn't even know that was Biz Markie until he said, oh, I'm gonna beatbox a whole show, they'll like it. And then I was like, oh, they kept calling him Biz. I'm like, is that Biz Markie? And I'm like, yep, there it was. He don't look like Biz Markie, though. The actor that they cast did not look like Biz Markie.
He big, but that's all they got going for him.
Really it. They cast a little Nas. She was mean as hell to Nas, too. Mm-hmm. The first scene. And he kind of looked like Nas as a child. I thought that was a good casting. Shante was just like in her. She was feeling herself so hard, but she was so dumb. She was so dumb. But she didn't have the right people saying, yo, check yourself. You are a child. Mm-hmm. Like, watch what you say. But to me, again, that makes it a good movie because I care that she's being that stupid. I care that all these bad things are happening to her. So, Shante is still... I understood her motivations. I thought the actress that played her was really good. I would like to see a younger picture of Shante. Because I'm not sure if the actress looks like her or not. Because we saw an older clip of her at the end. But I want to see a younger picture to see if they actually nailed it looks-wise. But I think Persona, they definitely nailed it. Mm-hmm. Like, she had flow when she was rapping and everything. I thought it was... And another thing, she had braces. I don't know how Cross did not get skeeved out by the fact that she had braces. Because that made her look extra babyish. Mm-hmm. But he a piece of shit, so...
Yeah, clearly he didn't care. He didn't care about her age, don't care about the braces neither.
Exactly. What's your interpretation of Shante?
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I kind of see these kind of things coming. Like, the moment they said she's like in her like early to mid teens, I was like, I already know where this is gonna go. Little kids in the hood don't know how to act when they actually got something. Hell, I wouldn't know how to act if I got something like that big, that early. I'd have needed someone to kick me in check. Which I had those kind of people in my life. But Shante clearly did not. Shante had Shante. I mean, for a while she had Renita, but like, Renita, she was steady going to school, while Shante was like, at the early part of the movie, she was like, they had like something called a pins warrant for her to be in class, and she wasn't showing up. Because, a part of the time she was actually trying to, be responsible and hold down the fort because the mom not doing anything. Because, I think the mom was like a house cleaner or something like that, cleaning toilets and apparently wiping asses. Not sure specifically what she does, but she does that. So for like a while, she was being responsible while she was, as far as it goes, while cutting school. But then, her ego got to her head and she just stopped going to school completely. She lost Renita along the way because Renita was like, I'm just a kid, yo. I ain't about to do all that shit. And that happened. The naivety started showing up, and it sort of wrote itself, and I sort of saw it going where it did go pretty easily because of like just the kind of decisions people make early on in their careers, like when they just get too big too fast, and it kind of sucks because like as good as she was, people were calling her like the best in Queensbridge since she was like 7 or 9, whatever number it is exactly.
Yeah.
Right, and I was like, okay, that's saying something. He clearly had potential. So she made it to the radio and all that. She started holding it down and all that, but like I don't know, somewhere in the transition between like becoming a local star who was, by the way, only getting like $100 for her shows because she got to split it among her I don't know what you call this, production crew, I guess, hosting crew, between the manager and the other guy, the guy,
yeah, and
the
that's
DJ.
when she should have realized her manager was shady because that doesn't make sense.
Right, but these questions won't be asked by her because she's like, this the most money.
She did ask, I thought.
Well, yeah, later on though, like.
No, she asked in the scene. She said $100. What is this? And
yeah,
then
and
she bought his bullshit though.
Right. Okay. Fine. That's what kind of what I'm going for then. She kind of bought it then, because at 14 years old, your business skills ain't gonna be all that great. You ain't gonna know what a good deal is from a bad one. So I don't know. Roxanne at that point, she kind of had the cards against her, mostly because of her surroundings and her age and her maturity, pretty much. But yeah, like I said though, she was starting off with being pretty responsible. Hell, there's a point where she came back home and she actually just started doing chores. Like, all right, fuck it, life sucked out there. I'm just gonna be back. But then what's the name? Marley Marl saw. Was it Marley? That's her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Marley Marl was trying to he was in his studio out of his window like, yo, drop some lines on this beat. And, we'll see what we can do on it. So, first take, she didn't even realize, I think it was like the next couple of days or something like that, she was on the radio. So, like, she's big now. I think that might have been where everything started. Like, it was kind of a good opportunity for her, but, like, there's some shitty steps were taken with it, though. It went in the wrong direction with some of the wrong people, I suppose.
A lot of the wrong people.
Yeah, a lot of the wrong people.
Including Marley Marl himself.
Marley Marl himself included, yeah, because he had a moment where he ain't look all that good. But
yeah, it was just like, a lot of people took advantage of her. And part of it is, their fault, because she's your child, and you should act better. Because you want someone to rob you of your shit.
Yeah.
But people don't think about that.
She needed an actual agent, for real.
Not only that, honestly, if she would have brought her mother with her,
mm-hmm.
she would have checked every last one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But Shante also had this thing where she had too much pride to ask her mom for help for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom was a hard ass, so I could see why you would have pride, because her mom was the type to always curse you out. Like, when she asked Shante right in front of Cross, you fucking him? That's basically what she said. I was like, you asked that in a crowded place where all these people are here?
Apparently that's where Cross's line was too, because that's where mom crosses cross line. Anyways, that's where because at that point he decided, I'm just get up and get out of here because I ain't about to do all that. I'm like, dude, if you savage enough to like be with a little 14-year-old girl, you should be savage enough to talk to her mom about it, because you already in the wrong, no matter what. I'm surprised it even got to the point where like they were sitting down and talking about that far. Because me, it's on site. Fuck that shit.
Hands on site.
It's on site. I don't give a fuck. But I don't know.
But it's kind of crazy about that is Cross. What Cross always, he did check the mom saying, "Yo, you're an angry black woman," which she was. and bitter, and every man you hate every man, and she was in that mode for a little bit. But not, regardless of the thing, she was still right about him.
Mm-hmm.
You should not be with her. You are too damn old. And honestly, all the mom had to do was call the police.
Oh, anyone could have done that too. I don't know if like Cross had that kind of clout in the hood or something like that. Because even the crew she was with, from her DJ and all the other people and all that, they knew that she was with Cross as well. And I'm like, no one decided to say anything. We already have her out here, you know, taking her on tours instead of going to school. And the moment she get like a boyfriend almost 3 times, maybe twice her age, no one want to say anything. Maybe more than twice her age. And
I'm about to say, because I put him in his 20s.
No one want to say anything. Like, yo, this don't look suspect to nobody. Like, it got out of control to the point, like, you know, we said before, she ended up getting pregnant. So it's like, and lived with him at the age of like 16 or 17 or whatever she was at that point.
I know, and he was like, he literally got on top of her and punched her face in and broke her jaw, so she couldn't even smile her damn picture.
Uh-huh.
Then he choked her out and punched her, broke her ribs. What the fuck?
I am glad that there was a point where, like, after the I think this guy's name's old manager came back to her as for, like, you know, some more to go on tour and get some actual
the guy
checks.
who originally screwed her.
I'm glad that she actually said no at this point, because at least at this point she's starting to actually show some real growth. I guess after the little talk with her mom, things started to come back into perspective.
Well, I think also kind of probably has something to do with she was angry. Mm-hmm. Because Cross was beating her because of her career.
Yeah.
And so she was like, all Roxanne Shante got for me is my ass beat and broke. Mm-hmm. I didn't get anything positive from rapping. So no, right now. Especially not with you, who screwed me out of all that tour money.
Right.
So I'm glad she said no too. And I liked at the end, you know, she eventually got out the hood with her family. And she got with a label and she released her album. So good job. And she started doing better with her life. I have no problem with that. But yeah, she made a lot of wrong turns. But to me, she was still likable throughout the entire movie. Even when she was like, you know, being all cocky and shit. I didn't hate her because I'm like, you're a child. You have no idea what you're doing at all. But excuse me. What else? What else happened? Michael looking at me like, okay, I guess we covered everything. I think it's a nice movie. It's a solid B movie. I think look it up on Netflix. It definitely was meant to be on Netflix because I think the way it was made, it was only supposed to be on a television or something.
It wasn't like a super budgeted movie, nothing like that, but still pretty good for what it was.
Yeah, and they probably didn't even tell the whole story because I know her career didn't last that long. I don't think it lasts past the 80s, to be honest. 80s, early 90s. But also, I forgot to mention, her first song, Roxanne Roxanne, or Roxanne Revenge, I can't remember, was a diss to all of the female rappers. And I thought that was cool for a girl who was like
14 years old
and never had any records herself, and she dissed them all. And I was like,
I guess when you're the best,
cool.
I guess when you're the best in your hood from 9 years old, you just get that kind of ego going for you. I don't know, because she's doing like battle raps for like $100 a piece and more
with like dudes
up to $250 later on in her game. And I was like, from just battle rapping, that's good, yo. That's rent back in the day.
I know. So yeah, I definitely like that aspect. And closing remark, I say watch it. I think it's a good history lesson in hip hop. You get to learn about a old school female MC that not a lot of people talk about, but she was one of the best back in the day. And I think it's an interesting story and it's a fun watch. So I definitely say watch it. What about you?
It's a cool watch. If you got some time, definitely look at it. Like, there's plenty of good hip hop documentaries and stories on Netflix right now. So if you ever get the time, like, you know, just take a little look at it. It's not like a super long movie, and it's not like something that you won't get anything out of. It's pretty good. It's not. It might be a story that, like we said before, was a little predictable in certain parts, and it's not the first time this kind of story has been told before either. Because plenty of times in hip hop, people go through this, especially females not only in hip-hop go through similar stories like this too. So it's like, you know what, this might seem a little familiar, but it's cool to see the perspective from this little, you know, New York girl's rapping career early on in the game.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, tweet us at Echo You Podcast. You can also find us on any social media sites, including iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, and we're on different podcasting apps like Castbox, Podcast Republic, and all those, all under Echo Underground Podcast. And we will see you guys next episode. Bye.
See ya.